broadcasting and our virtual tour of China over lunch. Now, this session I've been looking forward to all week, and we've talked pretty much, I think, in every single session so far. The word live streaming has come up in various different contexts, from our very first session where we looked at the whole concept of Chinese shopping festivals and the psychology behind them, right the way through to the session we just had before lunch from Alibaba on the technical cloud side. Every single element of our discussions has in some form or another covered and mentioned live streaming. Now, I know that a lot of you have got various different levels of understanding what live streaming is, and the purpose of this session is to really bring everybody up to speed with what live streaming is and how it works. And there's absolutely no person or people better than Mark and Zoe from Luxe who are joining us on this session to do that for us. I'm delighted that both of those then can be joining. Mark, you can see him on the screen. Hi, Mark, nice to see you.
Hi, David, nice to see you as well. And hello, everybody from around the globe.
And Zoe, you will be seeing Zoe a little bit later on, not as a little square on the screen, but actually live streaming herself, because we want to not talk about the theory of live streaming. A picture is worth more than 1,000 words in this context. We actually want to show you how live streaming works so you can understand the reason why it's not like QVC, and the reason why it's not a one-way piece of communication, and the reason why it is such a powerful tool. Now, tomorrow session, first thing in the morning when we do live to China, we will reveal through the analysis that Group M has done exactly how many live streams have been done in China and the revenue generated from them from the key biggest live streamers. And without giving the game away, the numbers are massive and the sales numbers are off the clock. So if you're thinking, well, live streaming sounds a little bit interesting, it's a little bit of fun, but it's not really a serious marketing proposition. It's not really something that we should take seriously because, you know, it doesn't drive sales or it doesn't drive engagement. Trust me, tomorrow we'll prove it to you. In this 11/11, it's even more powerful than it was last year. Now, I could go on and on talking about live streaming, but frankly, I'm going to hand over to the expert, to Mark from Luxe. Mark and I will be exchanging views as we go through the next hour and a quarter. But hold on to your seats. This is going to be a sensational session, and you'll come out of it really getting an understanding why Mark and I are so excited about live streaming. Mark, over to you.
Thank you, David, for that very kind introduction. Hello, everybody from New York. Today, we are going to talk about live streaming and what it really means and how can brands and retailers adopt this new way to sell online. So first off, we'll just introduce ourselves briefly. We launched our company, Luxe Inc. In 2009, right? Our primary business focus is to help brands and corporations, especially in the fashion, beauty, skincare, recently in CPG products, to test and launch their brands into China. In the past 12 years, we have worked with over 400 brands. What's more relevant is to fast forward to 2016. That was the year Alibaba Group came out with this new brand new concept to combine live interactive video with e-commerce. Since 2016, in the past 5 years, we have introduced live stream selling to 200 brands, conducted over 800 shows with a combined 3,000 hours of original live contents. In 2019, we launched the first and the only live stream focused consultancy, helping brands and corporations to build their own live streaming capabilities. What does that mean, right? It's Instead of having a live influencers or some third-party company selling on your behalf, we encourage and we help brands and corporations to build out their own team, foster a very positive live streaming culture, create training programs and learning about the best live streaming practices, creating a long-standing and engaging content so they can keep being upfront in front of the consumer through live streaming, also through our business consultation and solutions. And finally, we'll understand what is the available platform, both for China as well as the West, so to help these brands to onboard on these platforms and perform really, really well. Here are some of the recent events we have done. We've worked with Kim Kardashian, Alexander Wang, DVF, to help them to build their own live streaming capability and set up their shows, right? So now let's talk about what live streaming. Many people say live streaming is probably a phenomenon that only applies for the Chinese or Asian market. It doesn't apply to the West. I completely disagree. I think David is a firm believer in live streaming as well, because it actually solves fundamental problems in traditional e-commerce and provide practical solutions to change the way that we sell and we connect to the consumers. So the overarching problem we identify in the marketplace is consumer discovery and shopping behaviors have changed, but the way to sell to them have not. We all know increasingly consumers are discovering brands and products through videos and social media. Unfortunately, these mediums do not connect to direct consumers. At the same time, we all know in the past 10, 15 years, online shopping experience has not changed much. You go to a website, you check out the product link, you read the product description, some photos, maybe videos, but it's two-dimensional. It's not interactive. It certainly is not immersive, right? Therefore, the cart abandonment rate is extremely high for traditional online shopping experience. For influencers, there are powerful tools for brands and corporations to generate brand awareness, but they currently do not have a direct link with e-commerce, right? More importantly, for brands, they are losing too much of their voice to third-party service providers like retailers, showrooms, trade shows, distributors. They're not directly speaking to their consumer. They're not building that direct customer base. So what is live streaming? The best way to describe it is a combination of traditional home shopping network like QVC, plus Instagram Live, plus a complete e-commerce solution, all rolled up into one app. You see it, you engage with the seller, you ask questions, you check out without ever leaving the show.
And Mark, isn't that in a sense the core differential between QVC and maybe a Facebook community, that this is all integrated in one envelope? You don't have to go in and out of other things, and it's end to end.
Yes, of course, David, you're absolutely right. QVC, if you think about their business model and think about how they sell to their consumers, it's a person speaking to the camera, and you only know the result until the either website traffic come in or the phone rings, right? But live streaming is about the interaction with your own consumers, the communication, the social bond, and also think about when consumers are chatting and talking back to you, they're actually talking to each other. So it's a lot more about just speaking to a camera. It's about the engagement. It's about the community building. It's about understanding your consumer and building a deeper relationship. So I want to show you this a video about what live streaming is. Maybe it'll give you a better visual.
Hi there, we are Luxe Inc. We launched in 2009 and worked with over 400 US and European brands. In the past 4 years, we introduced live stream commerce to 200 brands, totaling over 3,000 hours of live shows. In the last few decades, remote retailing evolved from TV shopping to online shopping to current mobile shopping. In the last few years, live stream commerce has revolutionized how consumers shop online in Asia. So what exactly is live stream shopping? The best way to describe it is a combination of TV shopping plus e-commerce plus Instagram Live into live shopping shows broadcasting into smart devices and computers. You can talk to the sellers directly, view products, and make purchases all at the same time from anywhere. Whether you're on the way to work, relaxing in a bath, or even hanging out at a party. With just a few simple clicks, the host can go live, allowing live shows to happen anywhere, delivering a fun and immersive experience that will take you to places. Also, chatting and shopping together with hundreds of like-minded people just makes it more fun, social, and addictive. It's a party.
All right, so as you can see, live streaming offers so much more for consumer to connect with the brand. Like David said, a picture is worth 1,000 words. But I truly believe a live demonstration is worth 10,000 slides. So with further ado, why don't we give you guys a behind the scene look how live streaming actually works. So Zoe is actually live right now. Just give me a couple of seconds. Let me show you by joining my phone into this program so you can see how consumers are actually engaging with Zoe and why this is such an important tool for brands and corporations to consider utilizing live streaming.
Well, as we all know, Mark, the most tricky things of presentations these days is switching screens around. So we're going to do a little bit of technical wizardry now to enable us to be able to see Zoe literally live streaming as we speak, and Mark will be able to take us through how it's all.
Zoe, you're live.
Zoe is there.
Hey, everyone, look, this is what a consumer is looking at when they are joining a particular live streaming channel. Zoe is actually live speaking to the consumer right now. If you look at the lower left corner, consumer are saying hello, hello, hello. They're typing in Chinese. They know that we're watching this and they're engaging with us. Zoe call for action and say, everybody say hello. Right? You see the comments that are coming in. On the upper left corner, you will see the number of audience.
It's nice to see everybody saying hello, WPP. Hello, Zoe.
Okay, well, everyone, Zoe, can you ask everyone to say hello, WPP? I will join in as well. Can you see me typing? Hello,
yes,
WPP. You see the WPP coming out?
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is the type of engagement and call for action. You can drive the consumer to the right outcome, right? You can drive the conversation, build that community, build that bond. If you look at the upper left corner, you will see the number of audience. We have about 6,000 people watching us in the past few minutes, right? So on the very lower left corner, if I open this up, I could see the Zoe, because this show is not about selling, so we don't have any product within the link. But normally you'll be able to see these products within the show, and with 2 clicks, you can actually check out the product, right? Then Zoe is doing products demonstration and say, hey, listen, we're doing giveaways and we're doing final countdowns. How about you engage with us? Maybe some of the consumers who are lucky enough to be participating in this prize draw can win a prize, right? So we're doing a prize draw right now.
And how are you working out who gets the prize?
So the simplest way is we say 10, and then we count down to 1. Then Zoe will be doing a screenshot like what she's doing right now. Whoever that's coming on the top of that screenshot will win a prize.
Right.
Right? So there's different ways to drive people, to get them excited, to get them to engage with you. But live streaming is also about products demonstration. When consumers are curious about a particular product, they can ask you that question. What's the ingredients, that particular skin cream that you have, right? Is it,
and Mark, the expectation is that the live streamer will answer that question that you've just sent in immediately. They'll know, they have enough knowledge of the products to be able to answer those questions as they come in real time.
Absolutely. Live streaming is a customer service tool as well, right? How many times have everybody go to a website and you really like that product, but there's one burning question. No one on the website can answer you. Of course, they can do the chat bot, you can call someone, but that is not direct. That's not interaction, right? Live streaming can address that question here and now, right? Therefore, increasing sales conversion. But at the same time, it also can achieve the economy of scale. When one person's question is answered, you can bet there's 10 or 20 other people that have similar questions, and you can address that customer and that group of customer in one shot. So this is extremely powerful in terms of a customer inquiry as well. So I think because of the time that we have, David, if you don't object, we will just end this live demo and go back to our presentation. Do you have any kind of question regarding what Zoe is doing right now?
No, we'll come back to a few of those as we go through the presentation.
Absolutely. So I will stop sharing this phone right now.
Okay, and we'll go back to some technical wizardry to swap the live stream out for the screen. So if Mark, you can share your screen, your PowerPoint. And if you could do that full screen as well.
Absolutely.
Excellent.
You see what I see?
You see, we're live as well. Slightly less stressful than being a live streamer, but it has its moments.
The modern technology, right? So this is the area that we're changing. We're moving into. Everything is video, everything is live, right? It provides this really the next best thing than going into a store that you touch the product. Imagine as a consumer going onto a website or application, watching a live show. You can say, hey, look at that bag. Can you open it up? See how many zippers are inside, right? How long is the strap, right? And what it look like on a model, what it will look like on me, right? So for example, if I'm 5'7", 5'8", if I put it on my shoulder, how would it look like? So there's so many ways that live streaming can benefit the brands in terms of building community, sales, higher sales engagement, understanding the consumer, even what to produce for the next year. You can show them and ask them, right? I have two very similar products. Which one do you like the most? And you can do online poll. There's so many ways to play this. And I'll talk about them later. The real-time data that you can collect during the live streaming, the number of comments, we can aggregate them to understand what are they talking about, what the consumer are asking, the concurrent viewers. What did you do that's so right? The chart and the curve of people tuning in is spiking. What if you did something wrong? The number is dropping, right? How many people are adding product to carts, but they didn't check out? What did you say, and what did the consumer say? Able for you to really understand the consumer psyche and sentiments, right? Then you can make adjustment during the live stream. There's so many powerful tools.
So Mark, where is this data coming from? And do you need to be a mega, massive, great big brand to be able to get access to that data?
Absolutely.
Or can an individual live streamer who's just, doing it in his or her sort of bedroom get access to the same level of data that big brands could?
Absolutely. Alibaba is the one that invented live stream selling, but they also offer the most comprehensive data collection and key matrix, demographics, just with a simple slide to the live streamer, you can just slide to the right. You can see all those key data: number of sales, concurrent viewers, what's the hottest sellers, and also there's so many call for action you can do just by a simple to the right, and you can do so many things. There are literally hundreds of data points. Taobao Live, which is Alibaba's platform, can offer you before, during, and after a live show, right? For you as a brand to improve for the future as well.
Now, when Zoe is doing that live stream that we just saw, does she have, if she did the swipe, she could look at that data and take a decision off the back of it, either to start moving to another product, to talk about some of the benefits, to change her sales strategy off the back of that immediate live data that she's getting?
Absolutely, absolutely. Anybody can do live streaming, but it takes a great live streamer to combine the comments that are coming in, and you can see the speed of comments that are coming in, and reading between the lines to understand what the consumer are talking to you and what they want, and maybe they're interested in a particular product. At the same time, you can go back to the data with the one swipe. You can understand the data, right? A good live streamer will be able to combine the raw data and the consumer comments and sentiment and make the right decision then and there in real time to make a decision whether to move on or continue to push a particular product.
That's quite a skill to have in a sense, because it's almost like a Wall Street city trader who's seeing all the screens move and is making trading decisions, off the back of that. You have to be able to look, to think, to make those calls of change of content and change of tack on the fly, whilst at the same time presumably still being in dialogue with somebody. You can't just sort of stop, have a look around, and then decide and then carry on. This is a constant fluid conversation.
Absolutely, absolutely. And this is some of the services we offer to brands. We offer them a service to train them so they understand how to engage with the consumer, reading the data, how to drive the conversation for the best possible outcome, and also understanding the data and all the aggregated data to analyze how you can perform better in real time as well as for the future show. All right, David, so if I may move on. So, you can understand so much about who the consumers are, their age group, geographical location, education, income level, occupation, spending power, how much they have purchased, and they're all different ranking to understand, who are your key VIP consumers, what are they buying, not just from your store, but other stores, and the type of price, the price range they're purchasing from. So to really understand who your core consumer are, so you can better sell to them. At this point, our team can literally sell anything from a tea bag to even wine or even furnitures. We can do a lot because we really understand the consumer, and that's a powerful tool for any seller to possess. Right?
That's an interesting point, Mark, because one of the key sort of factors of the big mega live streamers in China is that they live stream and sell a whole variety of products. It's not as if they're just selling clothing or they're just selling cosmetics. They have the ability to be able to live stream and sell everything from sort of cars to washing powder and everything along that spectrum.
Absolutely, absolutely. There are people who are selling rockets that launch, satellite into the orbits. There are people who are selling 2,000 cars within 10 minutes. I'll talk about them later, but anything goes in terms of live streaming, right? So I will, this particular slides, this is a real case studies, right? If you see the purple dress that we have in the middle, I remember within a few minutes in the live show, over 100 people added that dress to the cart. And we saw this thing coming in within a few minutes. But as soon as that model turn around and show their back, and we understood, some people stopped checking out because, in China, people cannot afford to be too sexy, right? You can't show your back. And there's very few occasions you can wear that type of dress in public. So there's so many data in combining with live stream comments that you can understand who your consumers are. So let's talk about live streaming commerce origins. It started, like I said, in 2016. But in the next 5 years, it grew to be a $170 billion industry. By the end of this year, according to Coresight Research Group, it will become a $300 billion industry. Just imagine that number. We're not talking about Chinese money. We're talking about American US dollars. And it has continued to grow. And I want to put some human faces behind the success of live streaming. These two individuals, Austin Lee and VR, are the top two live stream influencers in China. Perhaps some of you have heard of them. In 2020, in 3 days of pre-sale, two of their teams generated $1.15 billion. But guess what? What is even more amazing? This year, during Double 11, just in 1 day, the two of them generated almost $2.9 billion in 1 day. Just two teams. Just imagine the power of live streaming can change a lot of people. But look at these two people 3 years ago. This is in 2018. Look at the mess behind them. They're in their little cubicle with their little cases. Their phone is taped to the tripod, right? It's not even, it's broken tripod. And the two of them are going at it, right? That was 3 years ago. Look at their humble beginning. It reflects how live streaming really transformed their life and transformed so many brands and companies.
I'm definitely in the wrong job here, Mark. I've been broadcasting now for almost 3 days solidly and haven't turned over a single RMB.
Absolutely. I think that just a reflection of how fast live streaming can change, the economy. And for the U.S. Audience and the European audience, the people around the globe, this is not a Chinese phenomenon. This is coming to the West, right? We all need to think about how to change consumer shop online, right? For example, Austin Lee, he famously sold 15,000 lipsticks within 5 minutes. In 2015, he was only a sales associate as a cosmetic counter in a shopping mall, L'Oreal cosmetic counters. But look, in this year, 2021, in 1 day, his team single-handedly generated $1.65 billion. And tune in, 250 million viewers in just one live show marathons. Just imagine that massive viewership, right? And we are the same story, right? Same stories. In 2021, he sold $1.3 billion in just 1 day. Like I mentioned, Wei Ya famously sold over 2,000 SUVs in 10 minutes. He also sold 5 rockets in seconds. Imagine the power, right? But it is not just powerful live stream influencers. It can change regular people's life. The video on the left, we call him the pro bro, right? When he first started doing live streaming, he was living under poverty line in rural China. In the first 6 months of doing live streaming, opening up oysters and mussels to find pros, he generated 4.4 million US dollars in the first 6 months. That is 30 times of his entire lifetime earning in just 6 months. His life completely changed. The lower left corner, Wei, she inspired 10,000 farmers to sell agricultural products during the pandemics to get them out of the spot because the supply chain was all broken down and these produce cannot go into the supermarket and the supermarkets were closed as well. So this can really change people's life for ordinary people, ordinary seller as well, right? Luxury brands are doing live streaming. This is LV, Jaguar, Land Rover, Burberry. They're all doing live streaming in China. Luxury fashion brands are doing live streaming. Cartier or doing live streaming is virtual reality live streaming, right? And also Dior is doing runway live streaming show as well. They all draw tremendous viewership and brand awareness, right?
Mark, give us a feel for the type of I suppose tone of voice or production qualities that a luxury brand would do versus I suppose a more mainstream brand. Is it very different, or is there an earthiness to a live stream that cuts across every product category?
Yes, absolutely. There's a full spectrum of quality, production qualities. From the very high end, which you are looking at, it's a fashion show. You live stream the fashion show in a beautiful setting. And you can look at the lower left corner, they're doing virtual reality. You see the Cartier ring is actually, just right in front of your eyes in a three-dimensional ways. But there's also very simple live streaming strategy. You're in the studio, you're using your phones, you're just showcasing product. It's different ways, and it's not one size fits all, right? So for different level of brands and products, there are different ways to play it, and the content should be different as well, right? This is Unilever products are doing live streaming as well, right? Selling Dove-related products, skincare brands, they're going at it. Cars are being sold. Mini Cooper launched a fantastic live streaming reality event. They set two people in a journey going across country driving this Mini Coopers. They showcase the relationship between the driver, the passenger, and their cars, and their relationship being, the conversation to be had in that car, so people can relate to it. At the end of the show, the two people, one girl, one boy, actually fell in love after days of journeys across the country, and they received tremendous amount, customer engagement. So
live streaming really can change people's lives then.
Absolutely, in business and in life, right? U.S. celebrities are doing live streaming in China as well, right? Kim Kardashian, Magic Johnson, Rihanna, Victoria Beckham. We were lucky enough to help Kim Kardashian to launch her first live streaming show, launching the KKW Fragrance line, right? Now, let's talk about the US, right? In 2020, live stream selling is a $5 billion industry. But by the end of 2023, 2 years later, it's going to be a $25 billion industry. Bearing in mind, everybody, at the end of this year, 80% of all global online traffic will be video-based. This is the perfect opportunity to convert those videos into a medium to sell directly to the consumer, whether it's shoppable short videos or live streaming videos. This is the perfect opportunity while this new e-commerce model is emerging out of the West. US celebrities are doing live streaming for the US consumer as well, selling books, selling cosmetics on various platforms as well. Coca-Cola is doing live streaming on one platform, and you see L'Oreal is also doing live streaming, selling directly to consumer. Big corporations are experimenting with this live streaming technology in various approaches, various categories. Very quickly, I want to define the current platform and the player out there into 5 different categories. There are people who are building marketplaces. I guess the most familiar of them that we know is Amazon Live. You bring the sellers, brands, retailers, and the consumer together. Consumer can do one-stop shopping, right? There's different approaches, whether they're focusing on fashion or they're focusing on selling books like Talk Shop Live, or network, they're focusing on streetwear brands and men crowd. But the second category is white label products, SaaS-based solutions that either incorporate live streaming into your own website like Membuster, Fireworks, LiveScale, or Common Soul. They're building individual live streaming app for each of their mom and pop shops So they, as a consumer, is almost like watching your favorite brands going live. Obviously, there are social media platforms. They're adding limited live streaming and e-commerce capability as well. Because of the time constraint, I cannot go into each of them in details, but I welcome the audience to reach out to us so we can break it down and find out which is the platform that's most suitable for you. And there's event-based live streaming platform where you do news conferences, product drop, but you're not really retaining the consumers. And there's also virtual assistant part of the spectrum, right? It's almost like FaceTime the store clerk before you visit the store, so they can show you the product and the product availabilities. So again, I want to talk about when you think about setting up your live streaming team and live streaming shows, what do you have to consider? Again, this is very, very high level, not knowing what your company is and the type of product category they are in, but just very high level. We want to dispel the misconception about live streaming, just like what David said. It's not your QVC, right? It's not about talking to a camera. It's about the two-way communication and the social engagement. You are bringing the consumer into your world, give them a three-dimensional, immersive, interactive shopping experience, focusing on customer engagement instead of like sell. More fluid and more engaging content. Secondly, you do not need a TV presenter or professional actors to do live streaming, right? Think about the natural interaction that happen. No huge investment unless you want to produce, a high-end runway show. You want to live streaming that. It doesn't have to be expensive studio, expensive equipment with expensive cameras. It can be more natural. It's more about taking your consumer to a journey to, go behind the curtain to understand who the brand is. Of course, fourthly, you need to have a script, you need to have a plan, you need to have a content. But sometimes you cannot just stick to your script and say, this is what I'm going to say, and I'm going to stick to it. You have to listen to the consumer and make maneuvers, like go around and to really understand the consumer and drive the show to the best possible outcome. Go with the flow, right? Being able to go with the flow. We need to think about the product and beyond, right? You need to have product that people want to watch. Either it's limited time, limited collections, or rare products. Also think about how the product can relate to everybody's daily life, right? Give them the reason to tune in, right? Attractive offers is also very important. In the beginning of you launching your live streaming program, right? Incentive to watch, anything like that. Building engaging content. Think about entertainment, surprise, behind the scene, entertainment. Create memorable moments, storytelling. Tell about what your brand is about. What's the design concept? Most importantly, when you do live streaming, whether all the platform that we were talking about, which one you're interested, which platform you want to do, you have to make sure to invest in driving the traffic, whether to your own website, through your own live streaming, or a third-party marketplace. You got to make sure people are tuning in to watch your show. When you think about
the thing that strikes me, Mark, when you go through what you've just done, is this is a whole 360-degree thinking you have to go through. It's not one-dimensional. And this is a game of, principally it's a game of strategy, and then it's about great execution. But the strategy has to follow the execution.
Absolutely. David, you hit a very important point. It has to be supported by the organization, by the brand or corporation from a top-down approach. You need to support this live streaming culture and the team and understand what the consumer want, right? Previously, it's almost like brands are creating a product and maybe they do a focus group, maybe they do surveys, but at the end of the day, they really don't know if what they're producing are going to sell until the product are launched, right? But live streaming offers them the opportunity to build that communication, direct communication with the consumer and understand who they are. And you build your content through that conversation. You build your content through your product. therefore giving you so many valuable insights and tools to perform better, both for your traditional e-commerce, your retail business, as well as your live streaming business.
So to what extent, Mark, is this also? So to what extent, Mark, is this also a phenomenally great market research, customer understanding tool?
I'm sorry, David, can you rephrase that question, please?
Yes. To what extent is live streaming also a great market research tool?
To a great extent, to a way that, look, I'll give you a real case study. When we were launching a brand for the Chinese market, and they were showcasing the next collection, a handbag brand, right? I remember bringing two very similar products in front of the consumers. During the live stream focus group, we brought our VIP customers, hundreds of them, into the live show, and we showcased the two products in a three-dimensional way. And we asked them, you can actually have, there's a tool, there's a function, you can do live poll during the live sections, right? Which one of these do you want us to produce? Then we do the poll, and 80% of the people overwhelmingly voted one over the other. And we also listened to the comments and the questions that are coming in. We finally understand this particular product should be produced. And remember, there's a long product lead time before concept or samples into production, into delivery. That actually helped that company to produce the product that consumer actually want and save them tons of money in unnecessary inventories, and therefore creating a more engaging customer base and reduce unnecessary inventory and save their cash flow. That's only one example, right? There's so many ways to play with live stream focus group. So it is a great market research tool. Okay, so moving on. So when you think about live streaming, right, you also have to think about what platform or what approach you are going to go after, right? I mentioned some of the approaches in the earlier slide, but you think about, am I joining a third-party solution, or are you want to enable your own e-commerce websites to go live, targeting your own e-commerce customers? Or you want to join a third-party marketplaces where you not only you're growing your own customer base, you'll be able to tap into other people's customer base as well, a better and higher way to scale. And what approaches? Do you build your own team? Is your product category suitable for doing building your own team? If you only have one skill, I would say don't build your own team, just showcasing a live streaming for one product. But if you have hundreds of product lines, a lot of SKUs, a lot of engagement, or a lot of content you can create through those products, then you should build your own team. At the same time, you need to tap into live stream influencer as well. With the emergence of live stream business model, there's going to a sub market where regular influencers can become great live streaming influencer as well. They can help to generate brand awareness as well as generating direct sales, right? What product to show? All of these are something you need to think about. Again, it doesn't have to be actors or TV presenter. It really have to have people who really understand the brand and understand the product. Someone that is extremely knowledgeable and very articulate, trustworthy, can build trustworthy and sociable relationship, understand how to engage with the consumer, right? Those are the things that we need to think about when we build your own team and build your live streaming infrastructures. Live streaming, again, doesn't have to be in the expensive studios. It's more about mobile. You can take your consumer to anywhere to show anything at any time. So it can be a designer studio, it can be a showroom, it can be a retail location, it could be on the street, it can be even in a manufacturing facility. But some of the things you need to think about, you need to have strong cell phone or Wi-Fi signal. You need to have good lightings, natural lightings, sound, and noise control, right? You can't not have a lot of echoes. So this is very high levels. At the very end, I want to ask everyone in this audience, you need to ask yourself when you do live streaming shows, right? Think about 3 whys. Why would anybody come to your live stream platform? whether it's your own or your own channel on a third-party platform. Give people a reason to come to watch your show. Why would anybody watch your show, right? Then at the end of the day, why would anybody during the show have the impulses to make purchase? If you can answer these 3 whys with 3 resounding yeses, then you have a reason to build your live streaming shows and create a great business model for your e-commerce. Finally, this is, again, very high levels. So if you want to explore live stream marketplace, all of these platforms, let us know your objectives, timelines, expectation, and budget. Then we can come up with the tailored solutions, whether it's platform or content or team or approach, we can help you. So that is the end of my presentation. Thank you for your time. And if you have any question, we are here during this sessions or after the session. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much indeed, Mark. A couple of questions that are both in my mind and a couple have been emailed over to me. So thanks for emailing the questions. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me, david.roth@wpp.com. Any particular product categories that you'd say are the categories to start with, first of all, Mark?
My answer is this, is multi-pronged, right? One is I think all product categories are suitable for live streaming. You can think about furniture, you can think about skincare, you can think about fashion, antique jewelry, you can think about CPG products, you can think about health and fitness, everything goes. But again, you have to make sure that the product category or the new product itself has reason for people to tune in and watch the show. And you need to build content, revolve around your brand storytelling and the product features, right? So the short answer is everything goes, but you gotta give people a reason.
What would you say are the core skills that the person who's doing the live stream needs to have?
Number one is knowing the brands and the products you're selling. You have to be knowledgeable because customers are going to ask you, right? Two, you have to have that personality, the outgoing personality to engage with the consumer. Do not ignore comments. I've seen so many so-called live streaming shows launched by a major corporation in the US. It's almost like a glorified Zoom call. I mean, people are talking to each other, but there are hundreds of comments that are coming in. They're ignoring the comments of their own customers, which is very bad. Being able to read between the lines and make modification, an adjustment to drive the conversation, drive the show to the best possible outcome. So a people's person, a knowledgeable person about the product and brands, and articulate, right? They have to have the image to best represent the brand. They don't have to be best looking people, but they have to be pleasant to be social with. It's about building that community. Those are the things, the basic criteria you need to have. And after that, our company can help them to be really good at live streaming, to understand all aspects of live streaming for them to be successful.
Now, given what you've said, and you showed us some very impressive numbers, we'll be discussing it more tomorrow morning with the Group M team of the A list, or maybe it's the A+++ list of live streamers in China. But how are they able to, in a sense, be so knowledgeable about the products to be able to move from product A to product B to product C, different product categories in their live stream, and yet still be able to know enough about the products to be able to answer those questions directly from consumers watching the stream?
I got to tell you, I know this firsthand. You really, as a live streamer, for them to be successful, they have to study day and night. You're talking about the top influencers in China, and that goes for any good influencers, live stream influencers. They sleep 3 to 4 hours a day, every single day. And now, except that, they study and study and study. They memorize each SKU, and they memorize, the key features. At the same time, we can't give all the credit to the people who are in front of the camera. Obviously, they have a support team, their associate, their assistants that remind them, right? So sometimes live streaming is about one person speaking in front of the camera or two people speaking in front of the camera, but there are people who are reminding you to say, hey, listen, don't miss that key features. You want to remind themselves. So it is, live streamers have to be passionate about the product. At the same time, they're getting support from their team members. And again, that I want to remind the brands and corporations, you need to support this live streaming culture, and you need to support your team so they can be good at it.
So it's I suppose like all things in life, when you watch somebody who's really good at it, it feels simple and easy and anyone can do it. But it's not something you can just tip up in the morning, not really know what the product is, and get away with trying to do a live stream. You have to do your homework.
Yeah, I mean, they make it seem easy and they make it so entertaining as well as fun, right? So it's not just about memorization, it's the skill, the inner ability to understand how to make your consumer happy, right? So it takes, months, if not years of perfections. But I want to remind the audience, do not expect live streaming team to be a magic bullet that's going to instantaneously to solve everything. You need to give your team and you need to give the people time to better themselves, to understand who their consumers. After a few months of training and consultation with companies like ours and their own perfection and the support from improvement and the support from the companies, they will be that good. But it takes a little bit of time, knowledge, and practices.
Now, you talked a little bit about frequency of live streaming. In order to get into a rhythm of it, and also, I suppose, in order to generate an audience that's going to be there the whole time. I mean, how do you get into that sort of frequency? What should the frequency be? I mean, should you be live streaming once a day, twice a day, 3 times a day, once a week, once a month? What is the cadence? What do you have to gear yourself up to be able to do?
That's a great question, David. I would say almost every day, but I don't want to scare people, right? Because it's a big commitment. But I would say at least twice or 3 times a week. Think of it as this is going to be your new Instagram or TikTok or Facebook. You need to be in front of your customer all the time. Remember, it's not a big investment if to have 1 or 2 people doing live streaming, right? It's not big, but that's going to be a very important part of the future of your e-commerce business model. This is the future. You need to invest in it. And also invest in the team. In addition, investing, driving the traffic, driving the eyeball to your live stream. You need to build up that customer base. Eventually, you will have a core VIP group that are going to be tuning in and love your product, become your brand ambassador, what we call KOC. So KOL, key opinion leaders, those are the influencers. KOCs are key opinion customers. In China, there's Little Red Book. It's user-generated content that really matters these days. In live streaming, you will build that strong community. You will have people that are going to be really believe in your brand, in your mission, in what you do, because they have built a personal relationship with you. And that is a worthy investment. Invest in your team, invest the best live streaming practices, and invest in driving traffic and building that live stream community.
Now, one of the things that we've seen, even for the first few days of this year's 11/11 Global Shopping Festival, is chief executives of big companies participating in live streams. It started a few months ago. It's become a bit of a trend. What's your view? Should the chief executive be appearing on live streaming, or the one of the executive directors?
Absolutely, David. Great question and great point. We call those people KOP, K opinion professional, right? So, so there's a term for everything.
There's no end. There's no end to the KOs.
Absolutely. But one of the key reasons to have executives or directors showing up in live streaming is nowadays consumers are more conscientious, whether it's about the environment, whether it's about the sustainability or the ingredients that you put into the product. People want to know what the brand represents, what the brand believes. And the key, the executive of those companies are the best spokesperson. Every time a key, executive show up in live streaming, you will see, the viewership double or triple. And in those live sections, sales obviously go up, but that's not the main purpose. The main purpose is to build that direct communication with the brand, with the brand executive and the consumer. Therefore, the executive will understand better what their consumers are, who their consumers are, under their needs and preferences. At the same time, the consumer feel like, I can trust that guy. I can trust this company. So it's a two-way bond that we're building. It is extremely, extremely powerful tool for brands and corporations to consider.
I think like any tool that's very powerful and any tool that has that direct sort of linkage between you as the customer and I suppose it's the closest you'll ever get to your customers for many brands. It also has phenomenally great responsibility because you are only as good as the reality of the situation. There's no hiding places there, Mark. Once you start this, that direct relationship, the consumer being able to ask the questions that they want, expecting the answers. You have to be, as a brand, as an organization, amazingly transparent and responsible to be able to thrive and survive in that type of an environment, which I think is a good thing.
Great point, David. And I have two more points I want to add. There was a show called Executive or Boss in Disguise.
Ah, yes.
So, you send the executive into the factory, into the office, pretending to be a regular employees. And that would be a perfect opportunity to really, for the executive who are higher up, to understand what's going down on the grassroots. And I find that extremely important. I think to know your employees is the same way to know your customers. Let's remove all the filters, right? So many levels of management, so many like distributors and retailers talk to your consumers. That will be extremely, extremely powerful. And I think my second point is, I remember, I think this was in a conference, Jack Ma of Alibaba Group said, in the future, instead of direct to consumer will be directing their demand to you, right? They expect personalization, customization. They expect for you to go with what they want instead of pushing product that you produce. They want to tell you what they want you to produce. And live streaming is powerful for you to understand what your consumer want for the future.
Well, I think that is a phenomenally important point and a good place for us to stop. I can't believe that we've already run out of time. Thank you very much indeed, Mark Yuan, the CEO and co-founder of Luxe, and also appearing on her own live streaming program, Zoe Zhang, who is also the co-founder and chief buyer of Luxe. It's been a remarkable session. I hope everybody who's been watching now has a much better understanding of live streaming, and will be watching with even more interest the numbers that we will be talking about tomorrow. Our tomorrow's session starts at 10 a.m. UK time with Group M live from China with their first summary and analysis of the first part of 11.11, both in terms of strategies of what people have been doing and also some key numbers and some very interesting live streaming numbers as well. But for the moment, Mark and Zoe, thank you very much indeed for joining us live. It's very much appreciated. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, David, and thank you for the WPP team, and thank you for all the audience around the globe. Thank you very much.
And we will be back in a few moments with our keynote interview of the day from London to China for our interview with the Chief Marketing Officer for the Alibaba Group. Don't miss it. Stay tuned. We'll be back.